Hi, good morning, teacher and classmates. My name is Lady Lucia, and I'm going to talk about teaching English skills like listening, speaking, reading, and writing with Ecuadorian literature using the literary text. First of all, I'm going to explain about Ecuadorian literature. Here, Contact in 2020 says that Ecuadorian writers communicate ideas about the world they live in through realism and fantasy. So, to explore how Ecuadorian writers communicate ideas about the world they live in through realism and fantasy, let's consider the works of two prominent Ecuadorian authors like Jorge Casa and Alicia Llanes Cosio. Regarding to realism, we have Jorge Casas Wasipung is a seminal work in Ecuadorian literature known for its stark realism. The novel depicts the harsh realities of indigenous exploitation and social injustice in rural Ecuador. So, social critique through detailed and unflinching description. And Icasa brings to light the rural condition faced by the indigenous population under the oppressive hacienda system. Next, we have fantasy with Alicia Llanes Cosios, with Bruna Roche and Los Tios, incorporates elements of magic realms to explore themes of identity, culture, and the supernatural. And regarding to cultural reflection, the novel blends everyday life with fantastical elements, reflecting the rich folklore and spiritual beliefs of Ecuadorian culture. Next, I'm going to explain some activities that I can use to develop these skills like listening, reading, speaking, and writing. With some Ecuadorian literary texts, like I mentioned before, Guasipungo and Bruna Soroche y Los Tíos. Well, here the first skill I'm going to develop is reading. With this reading activity, I take it excerpt from Jorge Enrique Adams Entre Mars y una mujer desnuda, or in English, between Mars and a naked woman. Well, the objective here is to enhance reading, comprehension, and cultural understanding. The activity is literary analysis and discuss. So, pre-reading discussion is introduce the author, and the socio-political context of Ecuador during the time Adam was writing. The second is reading the text, provide students with the excerpt and ask them to read it individually or maybe in pairs to make them share ideas between them. The second is literary analysis questions. So we are going to prepare questions that guide students to analyze themes, characters, and language use. For example, maybe here are some questions. How does Adam depict the socio-economic condition of Ecuador in the excerpt? Second, the cultural elements and values are reflected in the text. And the third one is how does the author use symbolism or imagery to convey this message? Or maybe we can prepare more questions about this. The third step is a group discussion. And the group discussion facilitate a class discussion, share ideas where students, share their interpretation and insights about the text, encourage them to relate the themes to a broad cultural aspect of Ecuador. They lived here, so they can share some point of view they could have. Maybe they could have the same, or maybe not. Here I'm going to explain a little bit more about Entre Mars y una mujer desnuda. between Mars and a Naked Woman. This novel was first published in 1976. Is known for its intricate narrative and blending of political and personal themes. This story is set in Ecuador during here in this time in 90s and follows the life of a young intellectual who is also the narrator. The protagonist is caught between this commitment or Marxist ideas and his passionate relationship with a woman, and symbolizing the tension between political activism and personal desires. Here, next to develop writing skill, writing activity, we are going to take the poem by Jorge Carrera Andrade such as Microcosmo. The objective here is to develop describe writing skills and creative expression. First, we're going to introduce the poet, providing background information of Jorge Carrera Andrade and his contribution to Ecuadorian poetry. Next, we're going to have a close reading of the poem, read the poem Microcosmos aloud as a class, discussing, I don't know, the imagery, language, and emotion that the author could have meanwhile he was writing this poem. Next, we are going to describe writing prompt as a student to choose a scene or a place in Ecuador and write or describe a paragraph inspired by the style and imagery of Carrera Andrade. Encourage them to incorporate sensory details and poetic language, to make them be more sensitive about the feelings of the author. And the last one is sharing and feedback. Have students share their paragraphs with a partner or maybe in a small group. Provide constructive feedback and language use. Describe the techniques and cultural accuracy. Next, I'm going to explain a little bit more about Microcosmos by Jorge Carrera Andrade. Microcosmos is a poem by the renowned Ecuadorian poet Jorge Carrera Andrade, celebrated for his ability to capture the essence of nature and human existence in his work. So, it's a reflective and described poem that delves into the intricate details of the natural world, presenting it as a microcosm of the larger universe. Carrera Andrade uses vivid imagery to explore the interconnectedness of all living things, highlighting the beauty and complexity of even the smallest element of the nature. So I consider this poem so useful to the students because due to the elements that the poem presents about the nature, the students can imagine it and describe it more in detail and maybe make them imagine float with every word the poet presented. Here to develop the listening skill, I take it like listening activity the author Alicia Yanescosio, such as Bruno Soroche Los Dios. In the first step, I'm going to give the introduction of the author. The objective here is to develop listening comprehension and cultural awareness through storytelling. The second step is listening to the story, and I'm going to play the audio recording of the short story. Bruno Sorrochilos is like a resume, just it. And next, I'm going to provide students with a transcript if it is available, or pause periodically to check comprehension of them. Next, the discussion question I prepared before. Um, I'm going to present the audio, and after listening I ask the student to discuss what cultural elements of tradition are portrayed in the story, how does the story reflect Ecuadorian society or values, what emotions or themes did the story evoke, and finally the personal reflection. Have students write a short reflection on how the story connects to their understanding of Ecuadorian culture and its significance. Here in Bruno Sorochi Los Tíos by Alicia Yanes Kosher, Bruno Sorochi Los Tíos is a captivating novel that delves into the life of a young girl growing up in the Ecuadorian highlands through Bruno's eyes. Reader experiences the rich cultural traditions and family dynamics and the blending of imagination with reality. Alicia Yanisco's storytelling not only entertains but also offers profound insights into Ecuadorian identity and social issues. Well, here the last activity is speaking, and I'm going to take the excerpt from Wasipungo by Jorge Casa. The objective here is to improve speaking skills through debate and oral presentation. The first step is introduction to the novel, say key points about this novel to the students, a background of the author. Next, reading and preparation. I'm going to divide the students into groups and assign each group a topic related to social justice or economic inequality in Ecuador, inspired by themes from Wasipung. Next, the debate preparation. Groups research their assigned topic and prepare arguments for and against, emphasize cultural perspectives and ethical considerations. The last step is debate session. I'm going to conduct a structured debate where groups present their arguments, rebut opposing views, and engage in a respectful discussion. Encourage the students to use language from the novel and relate their arguments to Ecuadorian culture values. Here, Huasipungo by Jorge Casa is a powerful and poignant novel that brings to life the brutal realities faced by indigenous laborers in early 20th century Ecuador through its vivid portrayal of exploitation, social injustice, and cultural erosion. The novel remains a significant work in Latin American literature, continuing to resonate with readers and inspire discussion on human rights and social justice. Well, with these activities presented before, there aren't only enhanced language skills but also deepen students' understanding of Ecuadorian culture, thoughts, its literature, by integrating reading, writing, listening, and speaking with literary texts. And students gain insight into cultural nuances and historical contexts, fostering a more holistic language learning experience, because I think this is so important due to the students need to know the roads and to keep going in other terms of literature. Maybe could be um, Colombia, I don't know, a lot of countries that they could take it and some excerpts to develop their English skills. But if we are teachers, Ecuadorian teachers, so we need to talk more about our culture and make students appreciate it. Thank you, that's all. And here are some references to take in mind while I use it to develop this presentation. So thank you for your attention and have a good day.